Hey, Gopal. Good morning from me, and happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday. Good morning, Reid, and thanks for having me once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have you back. It's nice to have, I would say, continued good opportunities to actually bring you on to talk about stuff that's not old hat or anything. And especially with this one, it's kind of cool to see some of the new integrations and partnerships you guys have had with Microsoft, which I feel like is definitely a bit of a trendsetter for certain things. So really excited for this one today, especially. It's seems like it's been a culmination of a lot of stuff that you've been working towards to combine a lot of systems together, to be some really cool turnkey thing. I don't want to get too far into the nitty gritty of like the details yet. But as we've done before, I think a good opportunity would be to give you a chance to maybe introduce yourself to the channels. We can chit chat a little bit and then segue into kind of talking about planning and the tooling once we get to that.
No, absolutely. Thanks, Reid. And for those of you, my name is Gopal Krishnamurthy, founder and CEO of Lumal. And we are a strategic ISV of Microsoft Power BI and now Fabric. And we have over 400 full-time employees. And we have invested heavily in the Power BI ecosystem for the last 8 years, completing Power BI use cases. And we obviously focused for the whole range of, from advanced visuals as a custom visual to, obviously the Writeback and then the master data management with our editable visual through the InfoRiver, the XViz, the ValCube. Spent the last 8 years, but we jumped right on Fabric about a couple of years back, a bet on Fabric, used the Fabric extensibility kit, and we won the best EPM award because of how we brought planning on top of the semantic model. And I used to say we complete Power BI. I can say we complete Power BI and Fabric today.
Yeah, and I think it's one of them for sure the most comprehensive solution that can provide for that. But like I've worked with you on and off for a while now over the years on a lot of these things, and I've definitely seen a lot of these individual products that you have grow not only from some of the stuff that you've had from way back with ERP and ValCube, but some of the Writeback tools, basic master data management tools, and even some of the visualization. So to get them all kind of like tied together in a software or like SaaS suite, but built into Fabric is very cool. I think you'll certainly have very little friction for hopefully a lot of installers and people using this, considering, as we'll get into, like the fact that it's tied to compute units and there's no additional cost other than just consumption for a lot of these things. So I think there's great potential for this, and it seems like the reaction from quite a few people at FabCon was, I think, similar thoughts that I've had on this as well.
No, I think it is a game changer. And obviously this is years in the making, but I don't know, everyone understands the biggest challenge for us over the years is, even though we had a great product, every customer wanted to use it. Obviously, security concern and going through procurement cycles at every customer and then doing a private tenant deployments. And by doing what we did with Microsoft, where it is fully bundled with Fabric, basically, which means the customer doesn't have to deal with installs. The customer doesn't have to deal with procurement. It's a basically no named user licenses. What Microsoft has done with Lumal by entering into a first-party distribution agreement and rolling it out to the masses for all of the Power BI community, the Fabric community, just to give you an idea how exclusive the first-party agreement is. If you really look at, your Copilot is actually a first-party agreement with OpenAI. That's how you got the Copilot. And even though it's a first-party, and then I think Microsoft recently did one with Anthropic also to bring the cowork, where Claude is also embedded as part of the AI journey. The very first one in terms of the first party was actually Azure Databricks, because Microsoft was behind on the big data space, and they entered. The first one was actually Databricks, and then OpenAI, and then actually Lumal. I don't know if Lumal came first or Anthropic came, but that is how exclusive, where Microsoft really wanted to bring planning and Writeback into the Power BI community. And we had the most mature solution. In fact, we were the best EPM vendor award by the famous EPM analyst. So they wanted to bring a large team behind it. So they have watched us over the last 8 years. A lot of enterprise customer credibility, and so that's why they wanted to come to own the category, the EPM category. How they disrupt with self-service BI, they wanted to disrupt with bringing the self-service nature and able to plan on top of the semantic model. And obviously, it's a native first-party product. It's I'm happy to do this. We are very proud of the work our team has done. I'm doing it, but I think the Power BI and Fabric community is going to latch onto it. I'm hoping, Reid, you are going to do a lot of how to videos and how to think, because it's not our product; it's a Microsoft product. I'm really counting on a lot of the MVPs and them putting out a lot of content. And obviously, I'm doing it to enable you all. And today, I want to spend a lot of the time actually letting people to try it out and do that. So, very excited.
Yeah, no, and I just was reading through some of the comments on it. Looks like they're, if I'm scanning through this correctly, it is in preview. It is available and rolled out in preview. But can you correct me if I'm wrong? From the comments, it seems like you have to toggle it on in the tenant settings, and then you can use it as an item. Or
correct.
Okay,
so
cool.
On the tenant. So if I run through some of the common. So I'm basically I kind of want to show folks Fabric planning. I'm just trying to take everybody through the documentation, and
sure.
Yeah, I want to because there are questions. I don't know if the audience can see my screen yet or not yet.
I can show it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So basically, Reid, if you can grab the link. I don't know if I have to join the chat and put it. So this is the announcement blog. If you can,
if you go, so just right over on the right side on StreamYard private chat, and you send a message here to me, and then I'll put it into the stream.
Got it. So basically, this is the actual announcement blog at the FabCon, which gives you the demo video. And if you really think about, there is a documentation there, and the Fabric plan documentation. One of the most common questions that we have had is, hey, it's not available in my region. Now, this is because there are some capacity infrastructure constraints, either because Fabric SQL is not available in that region, or that region is capacity constrained. It typically takes anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 weeks for them to catch up, to bring a brand new service basically into a region. So it's available in most regions. So if you think about Fabric is in over 54 regions, it's there, I think, close to 40 regions. So, but the most popular regions like East is not available, and South Central US is not available. So these are some of the common problem. A lot of times what happens is you have to go and enable. So one of the things I wanted to tell you is, if everybody can see, you go to the workload hub, you see included in the Fabric, you go see IQ. Plan is an item under IQ, basically. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
So now the tenant may have to enable this. Basically, it may be disabled it because it is a preview. A lot of times what happens is some large customers, large tenant, they will say, do not enable preview items. So it could be a simple setting, capacity setting, do that. I believe it may be our old Lumal EPM, which was the predecessor to this, is now deprecated. Don't even, There is no connection to this. This is completely eliminated. It's not a third party. It is included with Fabric. That's the main thing I wanted to highlight to everybody. It is an item. So now you go and try the item. Now, what I will tell you all is maybe folks is it doesn't matter what I don't want to really go spend a lot of time on slides, but I wanted to explain the principle today.
Please, yeah.
What is the difference between a planning and a write-back is planning is typically a separate application. BI, if you look at the last 40 years, people have ERP and then people have BI. And then people, even within BI, people used to have a software separately for reporting, separately for, that's why you had your SSRS and Power BI, paginated reports, and it's always a separate software. And then the visualization tools were separate. And then when it came to planning, because it is forward-looking, budgeting and forecasting were always done by a specialized software. But the problem, because it was a separate application, you have to replicate all of the data once again. You may have done it for creating your Power BI, actuals, P&L, balance sheet, cash flow, all of that you would have done, master data, everything in Power BI. You would have created a semantic model, or you may send a feed from the Power BI extracts into a planning system. That's how all planning software in the industry works. But as customers' BI matures, like for example, Power BI is pretty much everybody uses Power BI in the world, 20 million semantic models. The customers started, why did Writeback really became popular is it didn't matter what was the data platform. It could be Databricks, it could be Snowflake, it could be BigQuery, it could be even Redshift, or it could be your on-prem SQL server, it could be anything. You had invested in the Power BI semantic model. And what happens is people started sending your extracts and feeds back into the planning application. So for the last 2 years, that's why Writeback got back, because business users started thinking, I have done everything in my actuals. Why can't I add my budget column, forecast column, or a commentary column and save it back to the same database or the same Power BI platform? That's why the Writeback really got it, because people felt it should all be done in one place for an AI enabler. Now, guess what? Because AI also really started taking off and customers realized they all have to be in a single platform. And guess what? We bet on it 6 years back. We didn't suddenly spring up. Our InfoRiver Writeback matrix, it took quite a long time to mature. And we built to this architecture. We believed that the market will eventually start realizing that planning will have to be done on semantic models and where your actuals live. So we bet on that. And we said, you need to read your semantic model to be able to do your budgets forecast and then save it back to the same platform, which is your SQL database. And then obviously you can create your data warehouse on top of it, and all of that. And Microsoft basically said, the ontologies are the future because you need to enrich the semantics, basically. And Fabric has ontologies also with Fabric IQ. That's why the plan item is kind of paired with Fabric IQ. And if you really think about it, we had our PowerTable where you can actually do a live write-back, basically, change your master data, change your reference data, and save it back, and then link it to the ontology. And everything is in one place as well. If you really want to use other engines like Snowflake, Databricks, or SAP, through shortcut and mirroring, it's a one integrated platform so all our visuals that we used to have, right? Imagine everything we built over the last 10 years, everything is one single item, and everything is integrated.
Well, and to your point too, it's there is a big difference between like planning tools, which is meant to be able to easily push and direct out forecasted data either through formulas, algorithms, business logic, versus basic master data type changes. That's really just like editing statuses and other stuff. in a more from like a row by row basis rather than like cumulative basis. So the fact that like both are available, I think, are really nice because they serve different purposes, and the tooling for each for the interface is quite different between the two. The one thing that I remember you mentioning on the call that I think this will have is like the Gantt chart, which I believe I haven't seen it yet, but you talked about how that will have like a visual way to make adjustments that also will provide Writeback, which I think will, I'm sure that'll probably be one of my favorite demos in this. If you have anything to show for that.
I will probably one of the things is I don't know if I'm going to be able to show all the demos. I will try. But
Okay.
I wanted to tell everybody that every demo, our team is adding demos almost every week, basically.
Nice.
And if you come to since you asked about it, I will tell everybody how to navigate. Our intelligence sheet basically has our XVIS Gantt. Basically, I believe you see the project management dashboard. So this is your XVIS. Now, this is a read-only Gantt, XVIS Gantt. But what we have done is we have also given you a very sophisticated Gantt that is an editable Gantt. You just have to go to this one and you just watch this video on how you can use PowerTable to make the Gantt, all that editable, and then you can save it back your changed project schedule. So all of the videos, resource, even the same thing, resource assignment, it's a complete productivity tool. You can actually do time tracking. Every services organization could be able to do it. So both the intelligence sheet and the data management sheet, also one is an editable Gantt and one is a read-only Gantt, is available to you.
Yep. Nice.
So today I want to spend time also on how to get started and all that. And based on the comments, I want to take some of it's not a workload, it is an item because we rely on the Power BI semantic model. So basically, you start off with I'm going to go through the whole experience. So, but I want to, get out of some of the frustrations the people who have. One, they are looking for it. By the way, there is huge excitement. A lot of people are trying, and it's something that has really been, we think. But for a lot of the audience, planning has always been what I call as let's say I'm a Power BI consultant, and pardon me, you can probably get anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour as a consultant. But if you really, really think about planning is usually, it may even start at $250 an hour to $500 an hour if you are really a premium consultant.
Yeah.
Now, the Power BI consultant can really, because the way I explained it to you, if you really think about how other planning softwares work, typically they have people who are spending time on the ETL, completely a different person. There is a completely different person building the planning models and then actually doing it. So there are multiple consultants involved that really drives up the cost of implementing, because guess what? To start the first planning model, you depend on extracting all the data to build the planning model. Before you even start, somebody has to set up the pipelines, do all of that with other tools. So before you start your first planning model, you have to invest first 12 weeks. Another consultant will have to come.
Yep.
But think about all our Power BI consultants. They already know how to do all of that, how to build a Power BI model, and you get started instantly. And I'm going to show you that. Now, imagine they pick up and add the planning skills. I am sure they can almost double their consulting rates, because now what used to be a big consulting organization implementing, this is a game changer for the customer, where a single consultant can quickly, time to market is, we are talking pretty much you can get done a rollout in a week or even a month, depending on how long the business users want to test. You are going to be roll out you are going to be able to retire legacy planning applications. You are able to retire legacy Excel planning, manual workflows. There is just huge opportunity for every consultants on your channel to really upgrade themselves. But I want to show you today, do that. Now, one of the challenges has been that it is not turned on the capacity. That's one we addressed. The regions that is not available, I think we try to address that as well. Those are the most common issues. There is a third common issue is there, if the tenant has private link enabled, private link is not supported yet. So you have to disable the private link and try the plan artifact, because otherwise you are going to get some weird errors. We are working on a better error messaging. So these are your top 3 common issues that we have had. Now, what is the next set of issues people are having is, if your semantic model is in another workspace and your database, the Fabric SQL database is in another workspace, you may need explicit permissions, either through a DMTS security thing.
One quick question too, just on a couple of requirements, because I'm just noticing a few people trying to set it up in chat. Is there a minimum capacity level required? Because Fabric obviously has to, because it's compute. But is there like, do you have to have a minimum of like an F8 or a 16, 32, 64?
That's I think I'm going to take on the how the capacity consumption is going to work head on. It's right now it doesn't consume any capacity right now. If you look at the blog, the billing meters are coming soon. But if you see right now, it's in a trial. I would say probably maybe I don't know, maybe another few weeks. But I wanted to tell you how the capacity consumption. Again, I want to keep the audience interested, so I'm kind of trying to excited to share this with you all. Again, this is something extremely important. We have a fundamentally a game-changing pricing model. Again, it's not, when I say we, it's Microsoft. They really wanted to disrupt, like how they disrupted with Power BI's pricing model. That's what Amir shared on the FabCon keynote as well, is no need to assign users, completely a consumption-based licensing model. Means session is 30 days long, and you can actually use it for 1-2 months in a year, because if you look at the planning during budgeting season, you will use a lot of users, have them enter, and then they go away. Nobody has this kind of a pricing. There is no annual commitment. There is nothing. If you don't use it for about the session is 30 days long. If you don't use it for another 60 days, 30 days, you are not going to be, the capacity is not going to be consumed. And a lot of ad hoc use cases you can use. You can use the Mac credits. Again, there is nothing to do with Lumal. You just get the Fabric capacity and you can do.
And it sounds like, to your point of the 30 days, it's the, I think at the beginning of each period, it seems like there will be a calculation done on the tenant of the workspace or something, and then it will reserve a set amount of compute units for that month, basically, right? Okay,
exactly.
Got it.
So let's say Reid goes to create a plan artifact. You start a planning session. It will run 30 days. So you can actually, let's say you actually build it and then you save it. And then next month you go to enter. You can go in the Reid mode and pay for the stakeholder session. You don't have to remain in the planner session for all 12 months in a year. But if you go create another new artifact, it will start another 30-day session. Or you can reuse the session. The session will keep continuing. It will just extend the timeline. But the main thing is, most times what happens is, think about a developer or an admin or a modeler building a report and publishing it. After that, people will pay either a stakeholder or a viewer. I'm going to come to the roles next. But what I wanted to reiterate is the disruptive nature based on what we estimate. It's going to be the easiest to implement and probably going to be significantly cheaper relatively. So the market, because how feature rich our product is, I'm going to be demoing that. There is not we are a superset of what all these products give in terms of capabilities, which I will be showcasing as well. You can see it in the demos. It's not like, this is cheaper, so it's going to be inferior. No, the reason why it is cheaper is also because we start off of a semantic model. We don't have to deal with that. And then because of we ride on the Fabric capacity, it's completely a game changer. It's a one consumption platform for all your data needs, basically. So there is an efficiency of scale, and we are looking at it. So, and then there is an advantage of the maturity of being time. Now, usually after you enable, it takes about 10 minutes. It's not instant. It's sometimes if you get an error, it uses the OneLake and Fabric SQL as the application metadata. So if you want to allow it to get created for the first artifact, it should basically breeze through. You will see when I do this, how easy it is. You are going to see that. This is kind of how it works. There are 3 personas. The planner is, think of them as somebody who creates a planning model. They could be even a PowerTable, the person who creates the PowerTable. But the beauty of the stakeholder is, I'm going to come to the user personas next, is a viewer is somebody just viewing at it. Okay, think of a Power BI viewer. I'm only consuming the budgets and the forecast. I'm not allowed to enter anything, because a lot of times what happens is you don't even have the permission to change anything. You can look at it, how we are doing as a company, but you can't really change anything. The stakeholder in the reading view, because a lot of times you don't want them to changing the input templates or formulas or the models. You are only going to the read mode, and you are allowed to enter, or you are allowed to approve, or you are allowed to comment. But if you think about the problem in the planning industry, is you are charged a much higher price than of a planner or the person who is actually doing the Writeback. So we really wanted to disrupt that pricing model by bringing a new persona called stakeholder. The reason is it's a very powerful. Why people say that, oh, why didn't you not name it a collaborator or a contributor? We wanted to emphasize the stakeholder is the most common persona for this item, the most powerful persona, because this person can approve this, and without having to pay for the planner, they can actually do the collaboration, they can do the data entry, they can do the Writeback. It's full audit in the reading. So think of this as a developer license, and you could actually get all of the capability, create a brand new artifact and everything. So these personas is allowing us to be able to support even in an F2. But obviously you can't have a lot of sessions. So you can actually even think about it. We could even fit about 4 users. Basically, think of one planner or a developer, one stakeholder, and we can do it. Now, can I fit 10 and 15? I can do an F8. But if I do 10 viewers, I can do something like this, or I can do, let's say 8. You can play with it, and then you can see what it does to do this, basically. So you can play with what capacity I need to answer your question. I could even fit in a 16 user planning system in an F4. Guess what? Most planning tools, I don't think so there is anything available in the market for less than $15,000, $20,000 minimum per year. We really brought it down to where even a small business, a company that has only 5 million in revenue, can get an F2 and then do their cash flow forecasting and stuff like that. So the vision was, how do we support the planning in every capacity? So this is something that we will be publishing in the Lumal website in the near future. But I wanted to understand that it's not just you think, oh, I need an F64. Now, obviously, one important caveat I wanted to tell everybody is, what happens is that you need to be mindful of the limitations of the Power BI query results. So, only in a certain capacities you can do direct click semantic model. Only in if your Power BI semantic model is a very, very large semantic model format, you can't really do it in an F2. So you may hit the limitations of the Power BI dataset query result set size or the Fabric SQL, but you are not really limited that you can't do the planning. So you can do it in an F2, but I typically think it's mostly for small and medium businesses, not for a large enterprise to say, oh, I'm going to do it, because your semantic model could be a massive, large semantic model format, or you could be using a direct click semantic model, which direct click semantic model, the recommendation, I believe, is much higher, just that. So the consumption of CAO does not take into the account of the volume of the data. So one of the things is, it's more the Power BI and the Fabric SQL if you are trying to read a lot of data, write the data, but the plan item itself does not really have any such restrictions. Okay.
Well, I mean, to your point, I think it again is just like the, the cost of some of these things previously for like the SMB market, especially because enterprise can, write blank checks and pay, 10,000 a month for some of this stuff. But I think it is the first time that I've seen something that's been turnkeyed that, can be the equivalent of the hundreds of dollars a month, for like people that need, only have the 5 to 10 million in revenue, or things like that. So I think that is where a big value is, because that market's been largely lost because things were either too expensive, or if they wanted to build it in a house, it would be like too time intensive, like the amount of development time to make some of that stuff. So it is nice to, I think that there's continuously been better software that's allowed for enterprise grade products. Even Fabric, to a degree, has allowed people to have data platforms at a much more affordable cost, I think, than previously would have been required with Azure and Snowflake and all these other things integrated together. So I think that's a big win for this, for sure.
Exactly. The vision is basically how Power BI came and took over the BI market and made it BI for the masses. We have a similar vision to take Fabric for the kind of companies of all sizes. Planning for companies of all sizes is actually the real vision. And I have
just one. I was going to say just one quick question before you get on, just on compute units from the chat, just to bring them up onto this if I can. For Fernando Calero, does the consumption of the CU take into account at all volume of data versus users?
The plan item does not, but the Power BI XML API. So we use the XML. Now I'm going to. So you will see I have a lot of demos where I have a lot of data, and I'm going to actually show it's the application plan item itself can handle. In fact, I had a slide that I wanted to share it with all. See, the main one of the key points is Fabric Planning is the only software. It doesn't matter what line of business or what planning method you want to do. Completely, because of you want to do a very complex driver-based planning. It has it. It want to do rolling forecast. It has it. You can do integrated planning. But more importantly, this one, it's not like the one of the things is some of your audience really know about InfoRiver. In fact, you know what? It makes sense to show the InfoRiver versus the Fabric Planning, because
and as you pulled that up, I just want to briefly mention what you paraphrased on specifically around computes and volume of data. So just to paint a picture for the people, there's two universes with this. Your reserved compute units is essentially the cost of using the platform just by itself. The volume of data can be 1,000 or 1 billion rows, whatever it is. That is separately computed natively, to my understanding, just however your Fabric platform is. So like that is purely off of the SQL database requirements for how much data is being written to it, and how that natively would essentially use whatever computes there are. But that has nothing to do, with any computes that you guys are charging. Essentially, is that correct?
That is correct, because you may be buying the whole platform. You may use data engineering a little bit. You may be using the notebooks. You may be using Power BI reports a little bit. They all consume the CU. Now you can get a reserved capacity, even an F2, just for plan, but you could use it for other purposes. Basically, let's say you are using it only for 3 months in a year for plan, but for the rest of the year, you could be using it for Power BI, or you could be using it for data engineering. You could be using it. Absolutely. Now,
cool.
This is something very important for your audience, especially your channel audience, because a lot of them are very familiar with InfoRiver. One of the things we did was we had a lot of, over the last 6 years, we had a lot of learnings from InfoRiver. And the one thing is we wanted to come out of the Power BI SDK limitation. So we go directly to the XML layer. So we don't have the limitations that we suffered from the Power BI. We then wanted to rewrite it from JavaScript to Rust for significant performance benefits. You will see you will do. Now, a lot of customers wanted to do where I talked about multidimensional planning, which I have a demo. Hopefully I can show you. We do that. I'm going to show you a plan by SKU also, but a material level also. I have a demo that I could actually show you. The main thing is the level at which everything was completely here. You have to do the Azure backend, nothing. It's just the Fabric, the capacity, and nothing. The no info river login, nothing is there. It's a single sign-on. It's a very significantly full first-party integration with Fabric. I have a lot of slides, but I wanted to talk about the scalability. This is where a lot of the consulting comes in, and I want to spend a little bit time before I go to the demos. So I will go into a slideshow mode, hopefully. Can you see a slideshow, or is this Reid?
Yeah, I see the presenter mode.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So, oh, you see the presenter mode. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So this is good, right?
Yep, all good.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the things is most customers like Fabric planning because it's like Excel like pivot table. You attach it to the semantic model. You put your rows and columns and put the date dimensions in the columns and put your measures, enrich it, and then do the Writeback. Now we really scaled it up with Fabric planning compared to InfoRiver. This is the most popular one, but customers really wanted more enterprise level scaling. So this is where we are now introducing a dimension-based partitioning, because every country or a business unit or a profit center or a cost center can plan in their own currencies, or can in their own granularity, and then they can actually aggregate it and then do the Writeback, which we now support basically. But if you really want to do a large scale multi-dimensional planning, let's say tens of dimensions, maybe 300, 400 columns, because I want to do it by, we support it now. It's called a cube, a virtual cube. It's also available. I mean, I'm time permitting. I have a demo that I will show you how all this works. Now you want to do it at a material level, employee level, SKU level, customer level, where you can even have PowerTable can have even 1 billion rows, and boom, you can actually integrate it. I have a demo that I could also show you. So it's more, this is where how you model, how you implement comes in. So at every level of scale, so obviously as you go higher and higher, it gets a little bit more complex to implement. But that's why most company, but then people think, oh, this is all it gets. But you have all the bells and whistles that we never had with InfoRiver with Fabric planning. The only thing is the scalability experience. Oh, I'm trying to do a large. This is where I wanted to caution you. The volume of data is limited because how much Fabric SQL and your Power BI data set. It is not our application limitation. This is where the capacity size comes into play.
Yep. Yeah, for the most part, like it's almost like a Power BI. I would compare it for people in the audience to a Power BI semantic model. A Power BI semantic model has no technical size limitations outside of the capabilities of the capacity. This seems like largely follows a similar path where the limitations of its ability to read, write, or report on is primarily based off of what's in the tenant and the capacity size that this is running on.
Yeah. So I think I was going to spend a lot of time on demos, but I think the questions, everything have. So I will go to the workspace and I want to.
Yeah, we don't have a hard stop too, so feel free to take as much time as you need. So
got it. And I'm going to actually walk through just like just bear with me. I wanted to start off by saying, because I don't want somebody to think, oh, I'm having a large capacity. So if you see this here, I have an F32. Okay, so just so that everybody's comfortable. The most important things is I'm going to create a brand new item. Okay, I'm going to create a brand new item. Now you see the plan QA is the one in production. Sorry, the one in our environment. The plan preview is the one in production. Now, again, just to give you a heads up, the plan production is the one as we launched into FabCon. And the plan QA is the one we have submitted to Microsoft through the release trains. So they are going through, we have ironed out a lot of it's a significantly much more stable. We have fixed a lot of user experience issues because it's so I'm going to use the plan QA. So in case you are wondering, it's because it has much better bits. They should make it to production hopefully by the end of April, but I wanted to just walk you through what the experiences and some of the challenges, a little bit of driving awareness as well. So I'm going to do plan what I call a demo. I'm going to do like April 17th A, and I'm going to copy this. I'm creating a plan item for the first time. So I want to see everybody to experience what is the user experience to go through, basically. So it's a very similar Fabric user guideline. So you do that. And again, I like to do a live demo. Obviously, it's not scripted, rehearsed, or anything. I'm doing that. So this is where it's doing that. Now, if you see this here, this is one of those things I wanted to caution you all. Please set up a database connection to allow your viewers to collaborate. Now, if you are an admin or a member, obviously you will have access to the Fabric SQL to write back and all, or because we can do the write back from the reading mode, they may have only a viewer or a contributor access. That's why it's recommended you set up a connection. I'm going to just, say, a lot of times the connection, the DMTX connection could be service principal based or OAuth based. You set it up, basically. It's as simple as that. So we have done that. So some of the challenges are if the semantic model is in another workspace, you don't have the permission to use it. So that's where, most of the challenges customers have been reporting so far have been because they didn't have access and permission because they were only a viewer or a contributor. So just wanted to throw out there, you may have to, study something. Now, if I connect to the semantic model, same thing. You need permission to the semantic model. Obviously, I have the connection, but if you don't have, this is where. Now, how the directly semantic model works, that's where we have given instructions because a lot of customers try to use a directly semantic model, but how you set up a connection is a bit different for a directly semantic model. So wanted to throw, these are the commonly reported customer support incidents. So I just wanted to use to say, this may be a stumbling block for you. Now, when I connect to a semantic model, so this is where the user experience now starts to become very familiar. I'm taking a semantic model and I'm connecting it. So if you look at it, I want you to see, let's say I took 5 minutes. I got started in 5 minutes. Now that's it. I'm up and running. And now I'm going to create a planning sheet. Now Excel has only one sheet type. So this concept of sheets came from Excel. Every sheet type is exactly same in Excel. But here, every sheet type is purpose built. So planning is for your planning sheets. You can have many planning sheets. You will see them in my next demo. The PowerTable is where you want to have your master data, reference data, lookup tables, and then they are integrated. You can actually integrate them. Intelligence is where you want to instantly do live reporting, variance reporting on what you created. Let's say you make a master data change, you report to. So no need to write back, composite modeling, a lot of those complexities be completely eliminated. So it's almost like you get if you really look at other planning software, they say, we give you analytics and planning. Ours is much more richer, where it is all integrated with even data management or the master data management. It's all fully integrated. So I talked about the sheet types. I'm now here. Now, this is a very familiar user experience for all of you. And I'm just going to do a very, for the purposes of the demos, I'm doing a very simple product dimension, category dimension. I come here, take the date, and then I put the data hierarchy. because I want to do that. Now I have other demos I'm going to show you all that is going to really, going to be mind-boggling. I'm just doing my 2026. Okay. Now you get into an Excel pivot table like experience, which everybody is familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, even this, because Power BI doesn't support expand and collapse on the column hierarchies, even this, you can't do this in Power BI. So now imagine I want to do an insert column of my budget. It's very similar. So again, when you save it, it just saves. And then this is where I'm going to create my 2077 budget. Now you see, this is a new capability that we did not have. If you want to do a multi-dimensional planning, where I want to do an allocation for something that I didn't assign it to the visual, because in the InfoRiver world, you have to assign everything to the visual. Now, you can actually do on a breakdown dimension, do an allocation on something that is sitting on the semantic model. You can actually do. I have a demo that I will show you, but you get an idea. You can set up constraints. You can actually do a formula based. You see this, allow input on edit, read and edit mode, or based on a formula. A lot of you are familiar. I will be explaining the difference between a visual measure and a visual column. Visual measure means in a column hierarchy, it will enter one per the lowest leaf, basically. Okay. Now I'm going to close. I'm going to collapse this, and I'm actually going to insert a text column, because a lot of you like commentary. I want to do an explanation, but here I'm going to do one for the dimension member. I'm not going to do a one per month. Okay, I'm going to do this. Now I want to do insert column. I'm going to do a list. I can do a single select. I'm going to do something called a status.
And for people as well, like that are familiar at all or have ever used like the InfoRiver tool before, like that's where all of this, it will be super familiar from a year and a half, 2 years ago, when you added a lot of these typed fields that forces the restrictions and prevents any fat fingering from data entry, essentially.
Got it. Yeah. So what I wanted to quickly review all is, the layout is, you can change it to a table layout. I will talk about the tree layout. Basically, this is our stuff. If I come to the modeling, if you see this here, this is the rolling forecast where the actuals come in. You want to extend it by 10 years. You want to plan on a 10-year horizon. You would use the extend time. I will be doing the predict and some of these demos. You want to create a scenario, it's right here. You want to do a model builder driver tree, that's here. The multidimensional cube is here. Very comprehensive allocation rules is right here, okay?
Yeah.
Now, once I save it, you will see a lot of, now that I have created the column, you have to save, the report is now saved. Now, a lot of the formatting options are now moved. It's not like it's a bit different from an InfoRiver ribbon, office ribbon. By the way, we are bringing that back to full, but the default is going to be the minimal. And then here on the Writeback, I'm going to set up a Fabric SQL destination because I'm entering the budget. I want to be able to set it up. Now, I'm going to set it up to my database that I have, basically. And I'm going to name it exactly the same name. So I can tie it. This planning sheet is going here. I'm going to create the database. Okay. So now what I wanted to demonstrate is I'm just going to go here and I'm going to do, let's say, $2 billion next year. I want to be very optimistic and everybody should see how easy it is. Okay. I'm not going to spend time today, but test comment, I'm going to enter, and then I'm going to do submitted, and I'm going to even do kind of like, copy until last row and stuff. I'm going to do something just so that you can actually do a locking. You can actually, a lot of rich capabilities are here. Okay. But I wanted to show you all of the security. Oh, this has the richest security settings that you can think of. Who can actually do the data input? Who can actually see it? Who can actually read, edit it? You can use the enter ID, AD groups. Who can create a scenario? Who can actually, I didn't create a scenario. Who can actually create a comment? Who can actually do the Writeback? Very rich security setting options are available to you. Now, I'm going to do the writeback because I want to go to the other demo. I want to, fire the writeback, and you can see this is probably going to be the easiest writeback solution, completely no code, and you can actually do it. Set it up, and it harnesses the Power BI RLS, comes with full security, done.
And I want to pin like just briefly on like the importance of the last part, because I remember this back when it was InfraRiver, and like an important feature was RLS related to like who gets to see what rows with a lot of this stuff, which is now included in here. But I think the thing that's nice about that is that pairs with notes if as well. So any comments on sensitive data are keyed to that sensitive or to that row. So if somebody can't see the row, the comments will be hidden, right?
Correct. Let's even go down. I want to do it in January. I can actually do a comment. And I could even tag my coworker. I mean, I wish I can even tag my coworker Laron or Ashwant. I could actually do. So it has cell level collaboration as well, right? You can actually do that. And again, I may want to. I showed the security. I showed the model tab. But what I wanted to do is I actually want to open up this table just because we just did. And when I hit refresh and search for this table, if I hopefully I may have to refresh because I just created this table. Just bear with me. And I look for this table that I did. Oh, this table is here, right here. You see instantly. That's the beauty of an integrated Fabric platform. You see this table, you have it, and we have a lot of write-back settings. Basically, you can see who did what and when. And if I come back here to the Power BI, it comes with full audit. I can actually do the audit, and it gives you the full audit, basically. Okay, with who did what and when, all of this. Change log is there. I didn't write a single line of code. You get the full audit as well. Okay. So this is at a high level what I really wanted to actually show. Now, I want to go ahead and create a PowerTable because think about this is a planning related writeback, basically. Okay. Now, PowerTable is more for lookup tables, master tables, and all of that. How all of this. I want to show you how easy it is to create that well as well. So you are getting literally 3 products included, bundled and included, basically. And it doesn't matter what you use, basically. You get all of the capability. You get all of the visuals. You get all of them completely included for you. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to quickly show, let's say I come here, I go here, create a PowerTable. Okay. Now, I want to mainly focus on the getting started experience. Hey, I'm going to create a products master. Okay. I'm going to create a products master. One of the things that folks don't know is, unlike Excel thinks the sheet types come here. You see that here. You come here. If you don't know where it is, you come to the Explorer. So this is where all the sheet types come in. You see that? Right now, you can't delete the first sheet, but you can delete the second sheet if you wanted to. But I'm closing the Explorer. The Explore Power Table has samples, but I'm going to create a brand new Power Table, a products master. Okay. And I'm creating a products master. I'm going to use my connection just for the purposes of it. I'm going to use the same thing. And I'm going to create I'm going to create a brand new table. And I'm going to call it this, but I'm going to call it plan demo products master, right? This is a products master. Now, this is where a lot of times companies can read from a semantic model and create an abstraction, because a lot of times what do you use PowerTable is for futuristic master data, futuristic. Let's say I'm going to hire 100 employees. I'm going to launch a new product. Your typical, you take a copy of the master data and then you enrich it so you can actually do planning on it. So think about what is the impact of launching this product. product or hiring 10 new employees, and or I go and change the price of a product, how is it going to drive my income? So I'm going to take a CSV. Now you can do Excel as well. I am going to do the demo uploads, and I'm going to take the products master. Okay. Now it will read the CSV or the Excel. Now it has to that. Now, one of the things is PowerTable supports SCD out of the box. Okay. If you really want to track the time tracking, time dependent master data and all of that, it tracks. You just have to turn it on. But I'm not going to do anything. It auto detects this is the key field and a lot of that. I'm going to finish it. But the beauty of PowerTable is this one is live writeback. You see, I created a Fabric SQL table, and let's say I go ahead and change the unit price. Let's say 15. I go to
well,
change.
And the point with this too is, like, to your point, this is less abstraction from the core data, where the other one goes through a semantic layer. This is purely like rendering the data in real time with a direct query SQL connection to this data, right? It's just showing you live data, you edit it, it makes the change on the cell with that. There's no intermediate layer where this is being kept.
All right, so it will save live save to the SQL, live save to the database. Now, here's the thing. The beauty of this is, compared to other solutions in the market, is you can do bulk insert, bulk update. Like for example, you can actually, again, I didn't do, you can actually add a formula column. You can add a visual column. Again, you can actually do a lookup table. You can do a lot of that. You can do multiple inserts. You can actually do. I want you to play with it, but I wanted to tell you to have a column type. You can have a lot of different column types, basically. Now you can do forms, you can do automations, you can actually manage very robust row level access, column level access, extremely rich security. But the one that is most popular with PowerTable is comes with where I can come to the PowerTable and I can actually build an approval workflow, a multi-level approval workflow, where it will basically, hey, I'm going to do, but where I need my boss to approve it and then my super boss to approve it. I can even have 3 levels of approval into it. Okay. So this is a very, very rich approval workflow, but I'm going to put myself, okay. And I want to quickly show you what happens when there is an approval. Again, these are completely, if you see, I didn't write a single line of code. I am now making the same change, 15. I'm going to make a change this to 25. I can also submit for review. No longer allows you to save live. It goes and saves live. And since I assigned it to myself, right, it is sitting on my approval queue. Okay. It's there. I can actually do a partial approval. I can approve one and reject one also, and tells you the change, what I did. And then as a reviewer, I can choose to review or reject or change, request a change. Hey, make it like this. So you can actually approve as well. Now, it's pretty game changing because it is integrated data management. There isn't really any software that does it. That's why I want to go back. The PowerTable itself is a category, but since some of you asked, I want you to, there is going to be, I can have somebody on my team to come and do just the PowerTable, cover all the features. Since you asked, I'm just trying to say, go to the layout. By the way, in my other demo, I will be showing cross tab, but you see Gantt, resource, calendar. So that's where all the project planning, resource planning, and all of that is coming in. Okay.
Excellent. And the couple of quick questions that I had from the audience. So Fernando's queuing up some good ones. So in regards to like writing back, and this was back to the planner write back and column types, but how is the SQL database going to handle different column types, which could belong to different tables in the model, DIMS, or facts? This was in relation to like, the calendar type, pick list, etc.
Yeah, so I think the write-back settings and a lot of that, there is see, this is a very mature product that has been in the market for the last 6 years. So
Yeah.
all of this is all sorted out by our big enterprise customers. So if you see this here, write-back types and all, it's more mapping. And so what type of what type of data you have, it writes to a separate table. We don't go and change the semantic model. In the planning, we do not touch this. We just writes back to the semantic model, and then you will have to, if you attach it, if you want to do that. Now, with an integrated intelligence, you can pretty much do everything. So you don't really have to go touch the model. Basically, everything, we just read the actuals from semantic model, and you really don't have to do anything back. You attach it, and we eliminated the concept of, oh, the semantic model, all of this, basically. So if you see this here, this is the data series, and here there is validation in the advanced. Basically, you can actually, some of these things, you can actually do it. You can rename the column to match and all of that. But a lot of the challenges of trying to do, but principally, this is a full-blown planning system where it doesn't really, we read from the semantic model, but we really don't do much after that with the semantic model. And there's no need for it, basically. And the reason is, you are getting everything right here. You are getting, now, let's say I'm going to do the third sheet type. Let's say I just want to quickly show you. Okay, I won't be able to spend time on the intelligence sheet, mainly because I just want to add a drive visibility to you all. If you notice here, I have the semantic model. I have hundreds of chart types, basically. If you see this, every chart type in the world is pretty much here, basically. You have your Miko charts, all the special charts, everything. And the most key, I know, Reid, you are a big fan of visualization.
Oh, of
Fabric
course.
planning is also IBCS certified, basically. So you have native IBCS now built in and delivered to you, basically. Now, if you notice here, you can actually put a planning visual here, planning sheet here, PowerTable here, or put a matrix, and you build a dashboard. You can put a Gantt chart, and we give you probably one of the rich filtering experience. I don't know if I talked to you about, we actually allow you to bookmark and then share it from the read mode also, basically. So the bookmarks are also much richer. But if you notice here, whatever you do on the planning sheet, it will show up from sheets. Those measures are available for you. The 2027 budget we created on the planning sheet is now available for you from the sheets. Okay.
I'm just reading. There's a brief question. I might just be faster to put this into on screen rather than typing it out. So yeah, in terms of some of the planning and write-back, essentially there is new products, new columns that would be included in planning, but that is not in the initial product table from the model yet. So for that, I know with like the planning tool, you can add those additional typed field columns that essentially combines semantic model data with additional fields that goes to a database. For the master data management type things where you're editing a live table, can you add fields or just edit fields?
You can add new customers, new products. You can actually edit an existing one. Typically, this is think of it as this is more of a live master data or a futuristic master data, and the customer can sync it to their the problem with the master data is master data is what is as of today, basically what is my golden record. But companies are always hiring people, companies are always adding vendors, people are always basically changing the price. But you typically plan for it. What price should I change? So the master data, that is futuristic master data, a lot of that stuff, you really cannot. You don't have it. So the PowerTable is an unmet business use case in the world, basically. And that's why it is really customer. So I want to show you a slide where you can actually use it for a reference data. Any CRUD app, you can maintain customer master, price list, projects, contracts. There is no real, people live in Excel for these things because there is no real application that deals with futuristic master data. But what we did is, and this is the next part of the demo, we integrated it to both planning and to the reporting live, basically. That's why all the 3 sheets are included. So this is a huge competitive advantage for us. I make a change here, it's instantly available for reporting. I make a change here, it's instantly available for planning. So this is why it's very, very hard for any other tool in the market to really compete. I really want to go to the end-to-end demo because this is probably the most comprehensive stuff that I really want your audience to see. Because Fernanda asked, I want to be able to do a very detailed plan. Okay, so I'm actually having a PowerTable. Okay, by the way, I'm starting on an inverse order just because of the time. So this is actually a PowerTable. Okay, if you really see this here, right? And I, by the way, I can change this layout to it's in the table layout. I could actually make it into a crosstab layout. This is PowerTable. But for the purposes of the time, let's make this 10 million. Okay, just one. Okay, I'm going to make this one in Europe, Germany. I'm going to make it into 100 million. So I'm planning at a product level. Okay, I'm planning at a product level.
Yep.
I'm going to make this 100 million. Okay. I am changing in PowerTable. I'm going and saving it to the database. Okay. You know what? Before I hit save, I want you to come to this one. I want you to see the numbers first, because when I make the change, I didn't know what was before. So I want you to see the high level consolidated. What is the total? So you can see it's Europe is 59,119,000, and you see, let's just close the Germany. So you see this number here, right? You see this number here. Now I'm coming to the detailed plan before I hit the save. So you see the numbers really changed instantly, right? We were going to do Germany and we are going to make it 500 million. Okay. Very large number. So you see the change. I'm hitting the save database. Okay. So the way to do it is, because PowerTable really has no role limitation. It's users push down SQL. You go down to a customer level, employee level, product SKU level, any volume. You know, if you look at it, this table has like 10 million, 870 pages. It's like massive amount of records, right? I come to the consolidated. If you see this here, it instantly reflects in the planning sheet. This is a game-changing innovation, because the complexity of planning at a material level, SKU level, or a customer, you add a customer, it will reflect immediately in your planning sheet. You change something, you change somebody's salary at an employee, because I have 100,000 employees. You're not going to plan at 100,000 employees, but you will say, what is my total salary burn? But if you go and hire a lot of people or go change employee salary, it will instantly reflect. We are talking less than 5 seconds. No EDL, nothing. Okay, so the other thing that is very important in the demo, I am in the reading mode. I told you, right? The stakeholder can do all of this. Okay, that's one of the reasons I remained in the reading mode, to demonstrate this. Okay, now I am going to actually close these sheets because this demo is successfully completed. I want to go to the cube demo, because this is a very large data set that I'm actually loading. And you will see when you actually see it, this would have been probably, we will be sitting and staring at the screen for hours together when you really see how long it takes. Now, to actually show you the amount of the data, but trust me when I say, maybe I have to go back to the reading mode, editing mode, to actually show you the status bar, right? You see this here?
The statistics?
Yeah, hit it.
Yeah.
Almost 500,000 cells, basically, if you see this here,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, now watch it. You know what? The 4 billion looks too rosy. And here I'm planning at region, geography, brand, category, and product, right? 5 different dimensions, month. I have a lot of data, but The other one, I'm planning it at a different level, at a much, but I want you to see, I'm going to make it to 3 billion. Okay. I'm changing in one sheet. Now, because this is where it's inserting into the Fabric SQL. So we have to bear with it because this takes about 7 to 8 seconds just because we are updating a lot of data, but it's still the allocation ran fast and did it. Now, when I come here, this is the multi-dimensional planning, but at a much different level where I'm not planning at a product level. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
So this is how the cube works, where we have the product dimension added, where somebody else wants to plan more granular, but they still want to capture anybody else changing at a different level. Let us change it back to, you know what, 3 million billion, CEO is not happy. Let's go in the middle. Let's do 3.5 billion. Okay, I'm changing here in this view. Okay, I'm not doing any ETL. I'm not doing any write back. I'm changing here. Because this had a lot less rows, it will save fast. And I'm coming here. This is fairly massive, right? And I want you to see the power of the multidimensional planning, where you're planning less than 5 seconds, 3.5
That's awesome.
billion.
Yeah.
Now, we did not have these capabilities in Inforiver. These were something we really have been innovating in the last 1 year to bring very complex, advanced, multidimensional planning. And it's a game changer for the customer. Just to address scalability, the ones that I showed you, the PowerTable integration and this. I want to focus on the next common one. Oh, I'm a global company. I'm in 100 countries. How do you handle currencies? That's the one I wanted to show. Okay. So if you really think about it, let's close this. So I'm not.
And yeah, as always, like people are asking good questions. If you have if this is a good moment to pop a question up. Let's see. Fernando had one other. So like for planning, how complex would the planning be if they were to tie products to something like an installed capacity in a factory? So like number of machines, square footage that would be required if like the volume increases by an X percentage. Let me know if that makes sense. If not, I can ask for a clarification as well.
No. This is something we go back to ValQ. So if you really think about it, ValQ really specialized on driver-based modeling. What Fernando is asking is a driver-based actually modeling.
Got it.
ValQ specialized in this particular use case, and ValQ won the Financial Modeling Innovation Award in 2020. That is available as go to the model tab. It's called row-based modeling. InfoRiver was a column-based modeling. You add kind of the measures and then you model. We have, everybody is familiar with our own formula engine. When you do where you have products and the capacity and a lot of the drivers, you will create a row-based, driver-based model, which is completely there integrated. You just have to, it's just a different modeling technique. That's where a consultant comes in, because a driver-based model is typically designed by a consultant. And then you can actually do a tree-based visualization, and you can actually simulate on the tree as well. Basically, this is available natively for you, basically. Okay. Now,
got it. Okay.
Hopefully in the next few days, in the videos library, we are going to do how to do a driver-based modeling. The how-to tutorials will all pop up on our website.
And the one last quick one, because this almost means it may be an easy question. This is more conceptual. All of this is cool, but they're wondering, like, do you think finance professionals will abandon their Excel files? I think it's a good one.
Yeah. So again, Excel is an inspiration. Okay. And it is the most used software in the world. But why did we name our company Luma? It's our vision. But Excel was never designed for analytics. Excel was never designed for planning. But because it is the most flexible tool, everybody started using it. But we all know, in the age of AI, you can't have ERP, you can't have a BI system, and then download everything into Excel and do it.
I agree.
Everybody has universally accepted AI needs context. AI needs semantic models. AI needs ontologies. And so what is going to happen is, as the realization comes in, we hope that more and more, because that's why we designed our product Excel like. We will have the Excel like office ribbon. We have to go halfway there. And I think our vision is to bridge finance, Excel, and Power BI, because Excel and Power BI, where Lumal comes in, is with Fabric Plan. We are trying to bridge that gap for the finance, FP&A professional, accounting professional to do, and we are going to perfect that experience. It's going to take some time. Again, we won't completely. I would be an idiot to say if I eliminated Excel, but Excel will always own the offline use cases. We will always own the connected, scalable applications use case, Excel-like application use cases, basically.
Perfect. No, and I would agree on that a little bit too. Excel it will continue to be the most flexible tool that you could do anything in. People have ran Doom, the video game, on Excel sheets. It's crazy what it can do, but there's a lot of technical debt that comes with it. And I will say that, in the day and age of collaborative work and other stuff like this, which I think this supports a lot better, you don't want one person with magic formulas where if they got hit by a bus, nobody would know how to use the file, type of a thing, which is a downside sometimes of those specialized Excel files that have lived for 15 years that has these Rube Goldberg complicated formulas that leads to this number that tells you if you're doing well or not in the company.
I absolutely agree. I think AI is going to drive more and more of the data to get consolidated in data platforms. I think it's going to be a lot faster if all of the data is in Fabric, and then we give an Excel. On the intelligence sheet, okay, this is one of the action items that we are working on. Actually, again, it is a vision. We are working on it. We will get there. I moved it to the thing. We are bringing in ad hoc analysis where, you connect to a semantic model and then you get an analyze in Excel experience there, basically. It's going to be similar. You are going to be able to connect to a semantic model, and we are going to give you a full pivot table like exploration, and we are going to be able to save a view and bookmark it, basically, so that you don't have to go to a semantic model and try to do that again. I think we have to go do a lot of capability, the Excel, analyze in Excel like drill through. We are working on it. This capability will be available. So we go, and what people really loved, we got to bring it in, and that's what we are working in. This is one of the use cases. I didn't go deep into the intelligence sheet. I told you about a lot of the stuff, but this is going to be very popular for financial reporting. The intelligence sheet, everybody knows it's going to be very popular. It's going to be very popular for paginated reports. So we are working on things that really was not the Power BI strength. So we are trying to bridge the gap. So customers see as a kind of augmenting Power BI. So more and more of the customer base that have other third-party reporting platforms, third-party BI software retire and consolidate it within Fabric, basically. That vision remains same. I have a couple of more demos I want to do, Reid. In the essence of time, I'm going to do. One of the things is I did a demo, but I want to show something very cool that we did not have in Power BI. Okay, I want to do a plan for, let's say, EMEA. You come to model. I'm going to use predict function. It has built-in predict capability. Okay, and I hit predict. And I want to basically say, you know what? I want EMEA to grow 30%. No, I want it to grow full 100%, just so that you can see. And I want to run the forecast, basically. And you can see instantly what is the impact, because you have only a limited amount of time, and then save the forecast. And it'll go and work. So you don't have to really think what should be. You see this, right? And now I changed this, right? Now you see this here, right? 3.19 billion. Now you see the level of dimensions in which I was planning is different. Now I go to another sheet where the executives are looking at it at a quarterly level. Okay.
Yep.
Now you see it is instantly reflected. You are going to see 3.19 billion. You see EMEA. Okay, how I use the auto predict where I'm not even thinking, I'm just going to say this is my growth percentage, or this is I have a seasonality. It takes into, so in the semantic model you have historical actual. So basically, so because we are built on semantic model, I don't have to do an ETL. I can say look back in time for 2 or 3 years of seasonal data and all of that and do that. Last
Well,
but
the
not the least,
and I'll say just because there was a question about like a couple of things. Can you just show one of those little the context right click menus on just all of the different features that are in there again for like basically going up to parent or down to child? Because I think that is a significant upgrade from say Excel. It's not just the oddity and the roll up security, but it's like everything that you can do in here, which I think is really useful because it's death by 1,000 cuts to have to go in, and you might have some like hotkey patterns and some other formulas you can do in Excel where you can do similar, but this is, to me, this is low code. This is no code entirely, where the amount of extra buttons to click to auto apply based off of like, I want this to go there. This makes it significantly shorter, I think, to distribute intelligently your data as a major selling point. Like that's been around since you guys have had in forever for this. So I think that's a significant thing on this one is, yeah, the auto distribution across all of that without having to set up a whole bunch of formulas to do this yourself, which, yes, technically possible in Excel, significantly higher debt to build all of that. And it is more fragile because, it's custom written for all of that.
Now, I tell you something very interesting. Something like this is very, very hard. This is one thing where every country plans. And you see how we have integrated PowerTable. PowerTable has the exchange rates. You see this? Think of it as an exchange rate master data. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I have different sheet types. I have UK planning in their own currency, right? I made a small change in the US, but you can actually see, I'm going to basically update this to 500 million. I'm going to go to the US and I'm going to basically go to the US and I'm going to go here. And this is how, because a lot of people say, how do I handle currency? How do I do? I'm going to say 300 million for US. So you can see, and I want you to think through. This is the consolidated view, basically. Again, I think I may have to hit refresh because I did a little bit too fast, if I'm not wrong. But you get an idea of how, the main thing is you will see, maybe I did it a bit fast, but I have a consolidated view coming from each of the sheets. And then I can do a consolidated write back, basically. So I don't have to necessarily do. So I can collect, like in Excel, I can collect in each sheet. Each country can be separately dealing, but a global FP&A sitting in a central place, just without having to exchange. Hey, can you give me your forecast? Collect it in a spreadsheet, and then somebody in the central global FP&A trying to put it together, and then trying to deal with the exchange rates. Now you maintain it all centrally. And it's what do you call a fully integrated connected planning, leveraging PowerTable, leveraging the intelligence for automated report. You see, whatever I updated in less than few seconds, by the way, it's just, you can see. So because this is now tied to the semantic model, that's why I had to do a refresh. But we are working on where it even auto refreshes. But you see, we significantly improved the performance. We significantly improved the latency. So I don't want anybody to think, oh, this is in forever. No, it's something we worked, collaborated. Microsoft, the engineering team have been really great to basically. I'm very, very confident that just like Power BI disrupted the BI market, we are going to disrupt the planning and the EPM market. Fairly very confident, and everybody is aligned and determined to do that. So that's the vision. Obviously, more and more customers have to adopt Fabric, but I think it is going to happen as we bring more of the capability to the Fabric, the platform itself.
No, I think the thing that you've definitely managed to corner in the market is going to be the turnkey part. Because they're, any product that requires additional payment subscriptions not only comes with the friction of the cost, but it also comes with security. Like you're going to look at like medical or anything else that's extremely tight on with IT that is super locked on any third party tools, even if it's a 5 cents a month, they're still like, nope, we're only going to use official Microsoft stuff. Like same reason, like we can only use Copilot, we can't use Claude, even though we know Claude is better, for coding as an example. So I think that's what will probably give you likely a very big market share on this, is that it will not require there's no security issue because it's all going through Microsoft responsibility, just like Copilot is with GPT. So I expect to see a big rollout of this for a lot of people, and I'll certainly definitely be recommending it because I've already been largely recommending InfoRiver for years, just for any in my financial clients, because everybody needs finances. And the moment that I see them use it as SharePoint list or an Excel file to do data, you're like, no, just go buy this tool, pay for a few users. Like it will save you a ton of headache. Now I'm just going to pivot and all right, well, you don't, if you already have that, and that actually might be one point that I would ask to you is, at the moment, my recommendation is kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think for the people that are maybe matured and fully set up with Writeback pages within InfoRiver, I think there might be opportunities for migration in the future. I don't see an urgent, you have to go move today. It's kind of like Azure and Fabric. Like if you already had everything built in Azure, when Fabric came out, you didn't have to move to it. But now at some point, there is more features in Fabric that have justified it. But I wonder, similar for your customers that are currently
our
set up, what would you suggest?
Our recommendation is build your new use cases with Fabric Plan.
Okay.
And then as you get comfortable, then you will migrate it yourself, basically. Don't start with, I want to migrate, because the user experience with InfoRiver and this is completely different. And I know Fernando has been throwing a lot of questions. So that's where I said, the budget that we created in the planning sheet is instantly available here, basically. And I told you the intelligence sheet is fully IBCS. So if you put your dimensions in the rows and column, you have the matrix visual, you will be able to do IBCS compliant reporting. Yep. You can also build a dashboard. You could actually do it. But I wanted to just everybody to realize that you have all the charts, you have all of that, you have the bookmarking, all of the capability that you really like is available to you, basically. So just wanted to throw it all to you, basically.
And are there, just because I'll say for now, just if you can bucket them a little bit, just because there's quite a few individual ones. Gopal, are there any that you see that are in there that you'd like me to bring up to answer specifically from Fernando, the last 2 or 3?
I think the scenarios is a core feature of the planning. He just needs to go create if the planning sheet has the currencies and all of that, he can actually go create a scenario. We don't disable anything. Yeah, you can go create a scenario, basically. So it's all possible. This is where an implementation, you have to play with it, get comfortable, and do it, basically. This product is more richer than even a lot of the capabilities. So I didn't even touch on a lot of the features. For example, I didn't even do scenario comparison. I did not do, I'm just wondering why I don't see optimize. So there is a capability called optimize. So I'm just thinking, I have to click on a cell, I think, if I'm not wrong, or maybe I'm not. So there is quite a bit of capability that is there with the product, where I'm just trying to see. So you just have to play with it to get comfortable to see. Let's see the planning. You can see audit. So maybe we have a scope. You see optimize and bulk edit and all of that. What is an optimize is, this is a multivariate goal seek, basically. So what I mean by that is, you have heard of goal seek, but we went above and beyond to make it multivariate. So it's a solver and an optimizer, both very, very powerful capability. We never had it in InfoRiver. We had bulk edit, but this is much more richer. Bulk edit is where I don't want to go do by row dimensions, column dimensions. I just want to hit it. I want to put up my rules and then boom, do a bulk edit update.
Yep.
Pivot is where I have this, but I want to have, in Excel, you can go drag and drop and say, so you can create pivot views and then quickly flip, what if it is category and region versus region versus all of those capability. And then I want to, do on the single thing, all that capability is available to you as well. So I did not go through a lot of the functionality, but it's all there, and you don't have to write a single line of code. Just like I showed you insert column, you can do insert rows as well. All of the thing you can do measure in rows. You can do so. Ideally, probably this is gonna be the most richest EPM software, mainly because it has the integrated PowerTable and the integrated intelligence. It's gonna be almost. The idea is to completely, win over the entire EPM category itself, not just like thing. That's the thing. And I strongly encourage, we are going to keep putting more content. I think they will all bubble up to the user documents. Basically, I shared where there is a plan documentation. The idea is we are working on how to get all of them surface up quickly. Right now, it's like more like we are trying to get it to the Luma content, getting it vetted, reviewed. So there is a 4 to 5 weeks lag, but all of them will end up, getting into the Microsoft documentation, Microsoft. And I'm expecting a lot of the MVPs and the communities, they see the opportunity, they will adopt a lot more. So there's going to be a lot of content coming out. And I'm really, really looking forward to, if hopefully, we will come out with a Fabric plan in a day training soon. We will probably come up with a dedicated certification program, because this is a massive product. So we will probably train and certify folks to go out, and because we want to enable the community, we want to do that. So all of that is in the works, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be one of the first to submit to get the official certification, as a nice evolution to the ambassador program that you guys had from years back, that myself, Matt Allington, and a few others had from just InfraRiver. I will say, just to reemphasize, I think on this again right now, while it's in preview in Fabric, it does not cost any compute units. So if you're wanting to, like, similar to a Fabric trial, if you want to go poke around on a bunch of stuff and just see what it can do as a sandbox a bit without burning through any compute units, this is the good time to do it. Because at some point, I'm like, once this comes out of preview, will there be a trial? Or is this something still like in consideration on like what it will look like for people who want to try it out like in 6 months?
I think you will take a Fabric trial capacity. Again, I see this is where you will probably take a Fabric trial capacity is my gut feeling, but this is where it's best to ask the Microsoft team.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they'll be responsible again. So if somebody already has, let's say, an F64, they want to try this for 2 weeks. In 6 months, whether or not this thing would have a trial window before it starts using compute, that will be a Microsoft decision, not a Luma decision.
No, yeah, Luma basically, Microsoft completely. That's the beauty of the first party. Let's say you have a question on Copilot, do you go to OpenAI? Ideally, right, you don't even have access to OpenAI. But today, because of our involvement in the last 8 years, we have our existing customers. We are probably in the next 3 months, we are actually trying to educate the market, and Microsoft team is getting ramped up as well as we speak. So it will be more of you getting a Fabric capacity versus I want to try plan, basically, because you don't buy a plan, you buy the Fabric capacity.
Got it. Yep, that makes sense.
Now, There is a question on how does somebody know what is pending approval? It's a good question. There is a robust approval workflow built into the product. If you set it up, when you log in, you see thing, it will actually throw. Again, I'm not able to. So it's something. I myself don't know, but that is for the next demo. I will ask my team to create something so I can actually demonstrate approval workflow, basically. So it is a capability that is there, or maybe it hasn't made it to the production, but it is something that we have it in the info river. When you log in, it will auto detect and it will say, hey, there is things pending for your approval or pending for a comment response. It will show up basically.
Perfect. There you go. Close that one. I think at the end, as we are wrapping up, if anybody in the chat who still has any remaining questions, feel free to queue those up now, and we'll probably end with a couple more. But to close off on this, is there any last little final things you want to show or demo to wrap everything up? Put a nice bow on it.
No, I think I try to do a lot of live demos, and I was able to do it. And again, hang in there and give it a try. And we will, if you run into a problem, we will probably have to update the documentation. Or it's more, think about when you have Power BI came out, you have to invest at least a few hours to learn something. It's a new tool. It's probably a training issue, and we are help you to handhold and all of that and try to document better. And we are also trying to study the user experiences challenges. And we, like I mentioned, we have 400 employees, and everybody is dedicated towards the success of it. So we will fix things a lot faster. So keep the communication open. And I'm very grateful to you, Reid, because I at least have 5+ years of relationship. You helped us a lot to perfect the info river, and all of that made it in a lot of forms. And you will be like, and I'm hoping your audience, everybody, appreciate. It's been, I would say, a decade-long journey, and the vision is to completely win the category, make be as successful as Power BI and Excel is. And I want everybody to embrace favorably. At the end of the day, if the community embraces, we are all going to be successful.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's been fun to watch this grow, because I think the hardest selling point, again, with any of the previous stuff is always like, kind of the grunt of, I have to pay for another product. And like, that's gone away. There's no like, extra visual you have to add from the store. Like I am personally very happy on like how much easier this will now be to recommend to like, we do a lot of CFO type work and building, financial management tooling, reporting, and platforms. And this is going to just make it so much easier to just integrate that in a data platform in Fabric and other stuff. So very, very, very cool to see all this, and looking forward to this certification program coming out.
Sure. Pete has a very good question. If you would, bring that up, I want to. I think it's the same question. The model, because I think those are the challenges with the current set of planning software. I don't have a good demo for the model builder, but Pete's question, if you see Pete Nicholson's question, yes, it's a very good question, where you don't really do a time-based or a measure-based, revenue forecast. So we will have to do a modeling based on how they want to do it. It's a driver-based modeling based on market growth or some of the things. Our driver-based modeling model builder tool. I'm gonna risk going there. Please, please, if the demo breaks, please, I'm gonna go there. Venture. I go to the driver-based model. We'll try to, you can actually go, and this is where you build the model and say what is coming from a data source, because it's no longer like a time-based thing. What is an open period? What is a closed period? You will define a hybrid formula. Okay, for last year or the thing, I want a different formula engine. It's a driver-based input. So this is where it gets very complicated in terms of how you model, because you probably have a complex Excel model. We are happy to work with you, Pete, and we will show you, but you will end up going and building a model, because this is usually a driver-based, row-based modeling, and then not a time-based modeling, but that capability does exist today. Now, the beauty of it is, let's say I've converted it, right? Hopefully this doesn't, you can actually, we basically need actuals, the comparison is the budget. You then get a nice tree-based view where you could actually create a scenario. I didn't do a scenario, but I'm going to create a scenario. So it will actually, now you could actually do the thing. Now it will go and reflect what happens if I change this. You see what I'm saying? So it's a very, very, very comprehensive product. You can actually see I created a scenario here, and then each of the scenario, like Excel, it creates kind of a multiple scenario. You can create security on the scenario, and then you can copy to the base once you are satisfied. So there is a lot of bells and whistles available to you. So you can do a driver-based model, and then you can create multiple scenarios, and then do what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just to bring up a couple of other questions. One, I love the interface of this. I think like the dependencies tree essentially. Even Microsoft at one point had that as like one of their AI visuals back in the day that sadly never got used that much because it was very basic. But this has always been a better version of that. There's a couple of other questions I can bring up, and I think we'll use that maybe as our last two for the day. When you look at the data, how? Oh, sorry, not this. Not this one.
I think I
one
tried to
more.
operate. Yeah.
Yeah, you already got that. You already got. It was.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yes.
Think, yeah. So I want everybody to understand as when it is a first party agreement, Lumal is married to Microsoft Fabric, and Microsoft Fabric is married to Lumal. It's not like there is a Microsoft has thought through this. They don't want any of their customers to be impacted. So it's not like there is a zero customer risk or because obviously our code is inside the Microsoft, so there is no real impact to any of the customers. Basically, see, we have been in the business for last 16 years, and one of the reason Microsoft we were almost dating for 8 years, just to give you an idea. Not like, so we have been working very closely with the Power BI and the Fabric leadership for the last 8 years. They saw our engineering, our size and scale. We have 400 employees. So it's not like we are a 4-employee shop and then going to suddenly go down and all that. So a lot of thought went into this because it's not an OEM. It's something much more strategic. The whole reason is we really want to serve the customers. Basically, we want to expand the Fabric customer base. We want to serve the Power BI community with the investments in the semantic model. So I don't see it's even because they just don't understand. It's not a kind of a partnership. It is more of a much bigger than even a marriage, more of a committed lifelong marriage. So you should not, those thoughts should not even occur to any customers.
Yep. And I think to your point too, is like, this is essentially a Microsoft product to the equivalent of like the upcoming Cowork, which is just repackaged Anthropic, or Copilot. Like it's a part of the body of Microsoft. Like this is not something that is a temporary thing.
Does anybody go and ask about Copilot or Cowork? Nobody asks it. It's just because I am very passionate. I'm accessible. Let's say I was invisible. Nobody would even. You get what I'm saying? It's it's not even a valid question. Basically, Microsoft is the largest software company in the world, and they are very good at doing the due diligence. And you should trust Microsoft more than if you trust Lumal. They will have done the proper due diligence. Is how you should go about it. And you don't.
Agreed.
Question about Databricks. You don't question Azure Databricks. You don't. It's exactly the same kind of a very strategic partnership to actually serve the customers.
Agreed. The last little question just before we head out is this kind of software package, will this eventually ever become like a SaaS platform outside of Fabric, or will this always be like a Fabric thing? Just out of curiosity.
So that is one of the things is I mentioned, right? Is Lumal is married into Microsoft Fabric, and Microsoft is married into thing. It's not going to be like another competing offering or anything, at least in
Got
the
it.
planning phase. And the what you see is it's going to be like that. It's not like you're going to get another alternative. That's just this is it, basically.
Perfect. No, this has been really great and informative, and I hopefully the audience got quite a lot out of this. I think it looked like 38 to 45 peak viewers at one point watching this, and I'm sure there'll be a few thousand afterwards as well consuming this. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing this. Looking forward to doing some video tutorials on this, going through that certification program as well. But yeah, I mean, I see such a massive adoption for this. Like there's two types of like there's two departments that most companies of any adequate size has, and like that's HR and it's finance. And like this is something that practically every company, if they have a data platform in Fabric and they do financial reporting or forecasting, like this seems like the by and far the easiest and best option for them to be using for something
Absolutely.
like this. Just because it's so like you could get this set up and working in half a day, if not less. Like it's really easy. If you know everything that you need to put into there and you already have the vision in your head of these are my forecasts, this is my budget, whatever it is, this is going to be so easy to set up and just get it working. You really just the only waiting is waiting for the provisioning of like the SQL database that comes with this, but that takes minutes.
Absolutely. And we have customers doing headcount planning, employee salary planning, and then it rolls up. Every company, even a company at a 10 million revenue needs all of that. It's all built in. You just get the Fabric capacity and then you get started in less than 5 minutes. That's how easy it is.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, yeah, again, thank you so much for coming on for this. I'm sure you'll see some content from me on this in the near future. And as always, looking forward to the next time you have a really interesting product coming out for some of this stuff and having you back on in the future for that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Reid. Thank you all. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, everyone, have a great weekend and see you on the next live stream. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you want to help support this channel, take a look at our channel memberships or our merchandise store for cool swag. And last but not least, please consider sharing this video on your social media platform of choice to help our channel grow. So, until next time.